happy with the prices and?
No, I want to look at it and see what the specifics are about it, but
So we'll take no action on that
No.
tonight. Okay, item 2, Airhead Plastics, estoppel certificate and leases agreement. Yeah, we had a problem with that word last time, didn't we?
Sounds like a Mexican
It sounded like
restaurant.
a estoppel. Estoppel.
Sounds like a Mexican restaurant.
Mayor, as one of the folks that voted no at the last meeting, I'm very interested in trying to get this moved forward. But I'm not so sure that we've got the legal representation. Is Keith Howard here or somebody from Arrowhead available? Because the question I have on the table is, right, and the use of the word estoppel, right, if you look it up, I guess it means delay claims. So the claims that are set forth in this estoppel letter, right, which are backed up by this lease agreement, that is the city, right, property, okay, being used as collateral, okay, in this loan. And should the borrower, Arrowhead, or actually I believe it's MCP, okay, MCP for the premises leased. So is it said lease being signed by MCP to Arrowhead? I'm not sure what their relationship is. If one's a parent company and another.
More to Creek Plastic.
Was the original design.
So, MCP to Arrowhead, right? Should they default on this loan, what happens to the land?
The land is not put up. What they're asking for, to my understanding, Janice, is a longer-term lease to say that we have
The leases, they have 10 years.
10
They already
years.
have 5
Yeah.
years back.
5, and they have an
And-
additional 5.
we need an additional 10 years.
But what they have agreed to, and what this is back to the lease that was, number 2 says the lease that was done September 1989, and then again August 2009, where we gave them 5 years with an option for another 5. So 10 is all that they are actually considering under this agreement. But I don't think our land is safe. The land can't be mortgaged because it's not theirs. It's just, and these type things have been done at the airport previously with other companies, that to be able to, for an investment on leased property, their collateral and their good faith in their company is what is backing their loan. But because it is sitting on leasehold property, then we have to be aware of it and know what's going on. But our property is not in jeopardy at all.
And they would have it for that many years, which would make a difference if you were going to borrow $1.4 million and you only had a 5-year lease. They're saying we can operate on this property because we have this longer lease. No one is going to run us off of this property, so we're in a position to earn this money through this company to pay this money back.
And what I believe is you're given an answer, but I don't believe it's an answer to the question that I presented. Is there, right, a clause in here that specifically states that this property, right, property is not being used as collateral, and that should the borrower default, right, this land will not have a lien attached to it? Is there a clause in here that says that? And that's all I'm asking to be put in.
Well, if it can't be used as collateral, I don't know if I was leasing
It's a
a,
simple clause.
if I was leasing a house from someone, if I was leasing a house from someone and I went to the bank and wanted to borrow money on that house, they would want to know if I owned that house. Now, if I wanted to borrow money to spend on somebody else's house, which would be a little stupid, but if I had a 10-year lease, then I might could borrow some repair money
Certainly.
based upon the fact that I was going to be there 10 years. But I didn't find anything in there that tied our property to their mortgage agreement with whomever it is. Now, can it be stated in there? Certainly it can be stated in there that in no way, is our property, and that could be added, would you think, Janice? I didn't find it.
I don't know.
Yes,
I
I
thought
thought, Lisa, I thought you just told me that they were gonna use the property as collateral.
And I think the mayor gave a great analogy, because it's the same as, that's a great example. They're borrowing money against leased property. The bank knows it's leased property. The bank knows they can't take that property from the city of Wetumpka if they default on their corporate loan.
Then they don't have to use it as collateral. If you use something as collateral,
But they have to show a lease.
I understand that, but they cannot use the property as collateral because they don't own the property. So you can only show, they don't even own the building. They only own the business within the building.
Right.
So you cannot use the building and the property as collateral. Because if that's the case, I can go right now and borrow money on the property I just bought. I don't own the land, I only own the structure on it. But if I'm going to use that property as collateral, I can't do it. There's not a lender in Alabama that do that. Unless it's in the lease that says the land is not used as collateral or the city property.
Well, there's certainly some legalese involved in all this that I can't explain, but I just know when we work industrial projects, there's property that, we'll use the city of Tallahassee as an example. Those industries go and get loans on Tallahassee-owned property. They're
Is it
never
in
gonna
their-
take that from Tallahassee.
Is it in their contract that they can use the land for collateral?
Yes.
Okay, you said it. It's in there they can. Are we putting it in that they can use this as collateral?
That's what they're asking you for. That's all they're asking for.
If somebody defaults in the climate that we're in now, and y'all face it, we don't even really have a good budget nationally, or even if we do. If someone defaults, what's gonna happen to our property?
If you go back to day one, when Water Creek Plastic came to the city of Wetumpka and negotiated a lease to construct a building on and operate that business for all those years they operated it, they borrowed money to go into business on city-owned property and operated it for years, built the tops for the first UPS trucks that came out. That's what they did, the fiberglass tops. Then they sold over the later years to Water Creek Plastic. Essentially, it is the same thing. What they're doing is asking that they have a secured lease that they can take to their lender and say, we have a lease from the city of Wetumpka for 10 years. We plan on being here 10 years. Now, Mr. Banker, we want to borrow whatever amount it is they're asking for to revamp our business out here, to enlarge our business out here, to employ more people out here. So essentially, they're doing the same thing that Water Creek Plastics did when they entered into an agreement with the city years ago. It's never been a problem. When Water Creek Plastics sold, Mr. Jimmy Davis sold to Cardini and Arrowhead Plastic